Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Avinash, and in this video, I'm going to discuss uh, about installation process of Flask and how we can run a sample application. So basically, this Flask is a web framework that allow developers to build very lightweight and flexible web applications. That too with very minimal coding and dependencies. It has a lot of advantages. So this is actually the project links, project description, installation process, and some templates and some tutorials also available here. The project templates, the project structure, everything is here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to launch an Amazon Linux EC2 instance, and I'm going to explain you the installation process of the Flask, and also it has some dependencies like Python and all, and it also recommended to run within the virtual environment. So I'm going to explain you how we can configure all those things in Amazon Linux and how we can deliver this a sample application. So I have some sample code here, and also I have given very basic code also. You can try out with multiple options. All right. So let's launch an Amazon Linux EC2 instance first. I'm going to launch one. So Flask YT demo is the name I'm giving. I'm taking Amazon Linux to AMI. Again, if you don't know this Linux instance launch process, please refer the video. I'll try to add that video also in this video description. And I'm using an existing key pair. Also, basically this Flask application runs, we can make it run on port number 80, or we can choose different ports. So I'm creating a new security group. Also, I'm going to open HTTP traffic now. That is nothing but port number 80. So then click on launch instance. Okay, so now instance launched. So once instance launched, we can get connected to it by using this public IP address, or you can use this browser option to get connect. Okay, so the commands actually I have tested all these commands, and I have prepared this README file in this GitHub repository. So this repository link you can find in our video description. So the first, we have to install Python and the pip. So then we need to activate the virtual environment. So then we can create our project folder. So then we can activate the virtual environments, and along with this Flask, I'm going to install Gunicon also. Okay, so these all things we are going to discuss. All right, this instance is in running state. Let's get connected to. So we can go and connect using the browser. Click on connect. All right, I got connected to this instance. I am elevating my privileges to root. Okay, so now again the font is looking very small, right? So I will do one thing. I will connect via my terminal. It looks better. I'm connecting to my EC2 instance. Then type yes. Now I got connected to this instance, and sudo space su control L. All right. So now I got connected to this instance. So let's start installation process. So for this Flask framework, so first as I told you, we have some dependencies, right? So first I'm going to install Python. So let's take that command and install that here, run it here. So now we are installing Python. So you observe here Python defaultly we got here within this EC2 instance. Okay, so If you're using any other AMI or if you don't have, you can use this. So now let's install this GCC and Devil. All right. So this installation is now completed. So as you observe here, it's recommended to run this virtual environment. So if you observe this, like first you create a project, go inside that project, then you create a virtual environment and you activate that virtual environment. So once you activate, then it is recommended to install the Flask. So as I told you, I have gone through all these commands and I have summarized that here. So you can get all the required commands from this this location itself. So now I'm going to install this virtual environment first by using pip. So that is completed. So now let's create a directory. So in this machine, I am placing all my project files under this folder. So for that, I'm creating a directory. So this directory information we are going to use later in the configuration part. Okay, so the directory got created. Let's go inside that directory. Now install this virtual environment. So again, little description also added here. Whenever you run this below command, it will create a directory named the environment and in current directory, I am inside this directory, right? So their virtual environment is going to create and it is also copies like a Python interpreter, libraries and the required support files. So let's do that now. All right, it's completed. So now let's activate this. So this command source vn bin activate. So how we can say this really activated? Earlier we just have root, right? But now if you observe, we got this virtual environment in front of this root. So now we are within that virtual environment only. All right, now let's go and install the Flask. So along with the Flask, I'm going to install Gunicon also. So basically, this Gunicon is a Python WSGI HTTP server. Okay, so this stands for like a web server gateway interface. So it helps us like for communication between web servers and web application. Okay, so this also help us to run multiple instances of our application. So you need two instances, three instances of your application. So this Gunicon will help us. Okay, so yeah, I will explain you here whenever we are executing this, right? Yeah, workers, if you want to run with two workers, three workers, you can use that. Okay, so let's copy that and let's install it. So I'm installing Flask as well as Gunicon. All right, that installation is now completed. Okay, so now we can use this. This is very simple one. If you are looking for a standard project, so in the same uh, GitHub, I have this app.py and templates. So you can clone this to EC2 instance and you can use that. Or if you want, you can simply take this data as a first thing. Okay, you can create that here. So I'm creating like a vim app.py, right? Click on enter, press I, then paste all the content we have. Press escape colon WQ. So currently I'm going to run very basic one. So it is going to display content as a hello.flask and that content will deliver via HTML. All right, so for storing all the HTML content, I'm creating a directory named templates. So now create a directory the same location where you have this app.py. Say this, we have app.py here. In the same location, I have created templates. Now within the templates, so I don't have any data. Now create this index.html one. So let's go here, vim index.html, press I to go to insert mode and paste the content. So this is going to read the title and content from our app.py and it is going to display. Press escape colon WQ. All right. So we have created index.html. Also, if you observe that app.py, so it also looks for 500.html file. So let's simply create one in this location itself. Okay, so that 500.html also created that we are going to use later here with our Nginx configuration. That's the reason I created now. All right, so whatever the project you created, provide the read-only permissions at least for services. Or that also completed. Chmod is changing the permission. We are providing read-only permission. Okay, so the required configuration, the required application is now created inside this EC2 instance. So now, how we can run this? As I told you, we can use this Kunikon, right? So how many workers you required? So in this command, I have given worker one. So I'm going to run one worker and it is going to bind port number 5000 to all the associated network interfaces we have inside this EC2 instance. So we are running on server, right? Whatever network interfaces we have, it is going to map that 5000 port. So you have to open port number 5000 in that EC2 instance security group. So let's copy this and paste it here. Then click on enter. Okay, so it is giving some error. So it's saying no module named app. Okay, so we are in the wrong directory, just gave cd space dot dot. So we should be in the location where we have this app.py. So my app.py is in this location, right? So earlier it gave an error. So the reason I'm in the wrong folder. So you should be in your project directory. So now you run this. You go and you run this. Now you observe here. So it is starting Gunicon and it is, as I told you, it is running on port number 5000 and it is booting worker with the process ID. How we can test this? So go here, grab your EC2 instance public IP address, paste that here, colon 5000. Why? Because the service is running on port number 5000, right? So you have to give colon 5000. Again, it's taking too long time to display that web page. The reason, the security group we associated to this EC2 instance is not opened with port number 5000. Edit inbound rules, custom TCP, port number 5000. I'm opening anywhere from the world, then save rules. All right, so then immediately this should start work. Just give a refresh. You see here, it is working now. But the problem is, so this is working right. So if I want to use this terminal for another processes, if I want to work on this, so what I need to do, I have to interrupt this process. I'm pressing Control C. You see here, it is sending shutdown signal. And now immediately what happened? This application stopped working. Okay, so we have to run it as a detached mode. That's the first thing. Also, it's highly recommended to use Nginx as a reverse proxy. So for that, what we need to do? So we have to install Nginx here. Okay, and once that Nginx installation is completed, we have to create one configuration file for that Flask. Okay, so for that, this is a content. All you need to do is you have to replace your EC2 instance public IP or DNS name here. Along with that, you need to change the path. In my case, my project is in this location, so I have given same path here. So you need to replace this highlighted part here. Okay, So let's install this Nginx and let's do the configuration here. So let's copy this command, enter that here. Just if you are simply giving yum install Nginx, it won't work. So it is in different repository. You have to use this Amazon Linux extras to install this Nginx. So this advantage with this reverse proxy, right? Why we are using this reverse proxy? So the advantage with this reverse proxy, reverse proxy means it can forward requests from clients to other servers. Also, it returns the responses to the clients. Okay. So it is acting as a intermediate one between internet as well as our web server. Okay, so it is a secured option and it also helps us to balance the load also. See, whenever you are running with multiple workers here, for example, you have two workers, three workers, this Nginx also act as a load balancer. It distribute the load and it also has capability to cache the content also. So whenever content is caching, so it can deliver content bit quickly, right? So it also help us to secure our application and performance improvements also there. All right, this Nginx installation is happening now. All right, Nginx installation is completed. So now we have to adjust the configuration part. You have to create a configuration here. And the configuration name, I'm giving it as a flask-app.conf. So let's copy this. I'm executing same command, press I to go to insert mode and copy this entire thing, paste it here. As I told you, we have to adjust this specific path. So in my case, I'm in same folder, same directory. Only thing I need to modify here in this file is the server name. So press I to go to insert mode, remove this existing entry. Okay, before preparing all these commands, right, I have tested while preparing this document. So while testing, I tried with different server. I'm replacing that server IP address with the actual server I'm using now. Okay, press escape, colon WQ. All right, so the installation part completed. We have created required Flask app configuration file. So now, I once after creating this, I try to run this, but I face some issue. Okay, so the problem is that you need to add one specific entry in the Nginx file. So this is Nginx configuration path. So this existing configuration is for Flask we have created under Nginx, but this is default Nginx configuration file. So what we need to do, we have to add this specific line. If you observe here under types hash max size, this line added, right? So you also need to add this line. Otherwise, you're going to get like a hash bucket size limit errors. So to overcome that error, we have added this specific line. So how we can do that? You open this configuration file. So I'm opening VIM. So the configuration file. Okay, so as I told you, if you scroll down a bit, here you can see the types, hash max file size, right? So press I, create a new line and copy the content. So this specific one, copy it, paste it here. All right, so press escape, colon WQ. All right, so the Nginx configuration also modified. So if you have any doubt, okay, where we need to add and all, so you can do simply delete this existing entry or take a backup. Okay, before deleting, take a backup. Once you take a backup, you simply copy all this, create a file with this name, just whatever you are copying, paste it there. Okay, so yeah. So once this is completed, so you can test. For example, I just did some modification to that Nginx file, right? So I may add some extra, or I may mess up with that Nginx configuration. So I just want to test. Okay, is there any syntax error or is there any misconfiguration in my Nginx? So we can run this sudo nginx-t. See, you no need to write this sudo as we are working as a root user, but it's recommended. Uh, not recommend means, so whenever you are working as a regular user or this user, I'm not sure, right? So um, um, as a thing, like I have added that sudo. Okay, so here you see the syntax is okay and the configuration test is success. So we are good with the Nginx configuration part. Now, so we have installed it, we have not started, or so you can start this Nginx or you can restart. All right, so now we have started this Nginx. So Nginx is running. Now what happened? If you go here, if you try to, basically Nginx running on port number 80, okay. So if you're trying to access, you are getting this forbidden. So this forbidden, that means Nginx installation is fine and it is trying to deliver something, you don't have anything, right? So now what you need to do, you have to run our actual application. So this Nginx is going to take all the data from our actual application, then it is going to deliver on port number 80 itself. You no need to maintain this colon 5000 and all. Okay, so let's do that now. So again, for safer side, I'm going to add read permission on my projects. Okay, let's do that now. So now I'm going to run. So this no up command, it runs the command in backend. So I'm going to run with one worker. Just simply copy this command, paste it here, click on enter. Just click on enter. All right, it is running. So how we can test? So we can go here and this instance public IP address there, right? You give a refresh and it is working fine. Will this work, this 5000? No, you observe earlier whenever we run this 5001 working, but now you no need to define any port number like a 5000 and all. Simply you can give this IP address for your the EC2 instance IP address and your application is working, and that too non-interactive way. It is running in backend. So if you want to stop this service, right, so you can use this pkill Gunicon, you can run, and sometimes you may get into some error. If you want to verify any Nginx logs or if you want to verify any Gunicon logs, I have given that commands or path also here. It is going to list the last 20 logs. This is going to list Gunicon logs. You can simply copy this and you can paste it. It is going to show the Gunicon logs. So press Ctrl C to come out from that. All right, so this is a simple application. Okay, so if you are able to deliver this simple application, so then you can test with some kind of standard data. This is kind of hello world only, right? So many of you expect a bit more than hello world, right? So what I did for that, I have here I have created a sample web page, right, with some content. So the web page is going to display two posts initially. So it allows us to even write a new post. So that new post, how many posts you are going to write, it will show that. Even if you are giving any wrong ID to list the port and all, it is going to give some error also. So for that, I prepared some content and I have placed in this repository itself. One is app.py, second one is templates. Okay, so we have to get this data to our EC2 instance to test with actual application. But before that, let me stop existing one. So I'm using this pkill gunicon command. Whenever we run this pkill gunicon, now immediately this will stop working. Okay, So even I prefer to stop Nginx service also. Service Nginx stop. Okay, now Nginx service is not running and Gunicon also stopped. All right, so even we don't get this forbidden error also. It's giving connection refused. Okay, we have stopped existing process. Now, let's copy all the content from this repository to the EC2 instance. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to um, install Git and I'm going to clone this repository. Okay, for that, let's also, before that, let me remove this existing app.py, and also I'm removing this templates also. All right, both is not in this location now. Let's clear the screen. So yam install git -y. So I'm just installing git to clone. So instead of creating each and every folder, I prefer this option. Right, so now git clone, so give that repository URL, and now if I give ls, you see here Flask installation folder got created. Okay, so I want to copy everything here in this location itself, cp-r Flask, whatever content we have in that location, I'm copying it here. Okay, just give ls. You see here, app.py is now in this location and templates also in this location. Just to verify, go inside the templates folder, give refresh. Yeah, whatever the content I have in the repository, Git repository, everything is here. Now let's run this again. So again to run, we can use this command um Gunicon, this command, or you can first start service Nginx start. So Nginx service started. How to test that? You go here, give a refresh. Yeah, we are getting this forbidden error. Okay, so that is good. So now let's run this command. So we are running it as a non-interactive one, as a backend service in detached mode in simple. Click on enter. Yeah, it's working now. Okay, how we can test? Go here, give refresh here. You see here, as I told you, I have a simple home page. Within that home page, I have post one. If I click here, this is the content of my first post. This is post two. This is content of my second post. Right. So I want to add a new post. So if I want to add a new post, see in this template directory, you see here, this new post is there, right? So when I am copying this, whenever you click on this new post, also observe post/0 is for first post, post/1 is for second post. Whatever the post I'm going to create, it will increment. Okay, the third post will come with like post -/2. So how we can? So you give this URL, give new post, click on enter. It's asking, okay, the web page is loaded and it is asking for title. So third post, this is my third post. Click on submit. All right, immediately we got the third post here. Okay, so now I want to add another post. I'm giving new post test 4. This is my test 4 and click on submit. So immediately you observe here test 4 also coming. Okay, so also for example, some you're trying to find like um, post 2 directly, you can give that URL here, it is loading. You are trying to find post 20, actually it is not available. When I am giving that, you see here, it is loading that error page. So we have an error page here, error.html. So that actually loading here. Okay, so this is a sample application where you can test. Also, if you want to integrate with any of the databases, so basically this Flask app supports different databases like SQLite, or you can integrate with PostgreSQL, right? So that also you can integrate with this, and so that you can store some information into that backend database, this post information or any other information. All right, so that is what this Flask installation process and running a sample application by using Flask. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you like, if you want more content in similar manner, so please spare some time, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you again in next video. Thank you.